Hey guys, welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Let's carry on where we left off. We're closing in on the killer. Miss Brett is on the witness stand, piling lie on top of lie on top of lie, threatening to topple over and bury her completely. So let's go ahead and press her last statement, where Inspector Hosonaga seems to have something he wants to share with the rest of the class.
Exactly. Which means that even if the investigation takes a different direction, vital evidence may be lost.
There he goes, in his coughing fit. What do you know? Yes, there it is again. The detective's reaction is just the same as before. Why? Up until now, the detective has been in the stand with Miss Brett as her interpreter. That he has. But things are very different now. For this testimony, the detective is just listening to what the Englishwoman has to say. This could be a golden opportunity. What do you mean? Golden opportunity for what? When people are actually testifying, they're usually very careful not to let anything slip. And yet, there's always one sentence that we can press or present evidence on. However, when they're listening to someone else speak, you'll find they often let their guard down. Oh, really? Yes, of course, because they're not concentrating on picking their words carefully. They're just sort of standing there, trying to be idle, of course, thinking no one's watching him as someone else is speaking. You're right. Look at him. He's lost in his own thoughts. Not to mention he's dribbling blood. It's a freaking health hazard, man. Someone needs to sterilize that witness box immediately. It's time to cut his head off. Oh, I mean, to pursue the man and his train of thought. Sorry? Pursue? What do you mean by that? Play some sort of pursuit music? Why do you have your sword out anyway? I'll explain how to do it now, Ryunosuke. It's all to do with the witness marker. What marker? What are you talking about? I don't have a UI. I can't see anything you can. Oh, wait, now I can. At the moment, we're focused on Miss Brett, who's the person actually making the current statement. Ooh. But by moving the marker left and right with AD, you can turn your attention to other people in the stand. Ooh, I see. Okay, so we're going to be like observing people on the witness stand. So I'm supposing we're going to have to get used to having more than one person up there, like we had with Iesunosa and Kiryu Correcta. Now we've got Miss Britt and Inspector Hosonaga here. I have to admit, I like these little features where we have to observe the witnesses, especially with Apollo Justice and his bracelet. I wish if we had more of that in the courtroom. I really liked the trance music that plays when you're observing, and I really enjoyed trying to find when witnesses were trying to lie and their little tells, except for frickin' Brussels one. That one took me forever to find. I remember being traumatized by searching his entire person only to find out what it is and getting traumatized even more, so there was that. While you're looking at the other witnesses, you'll be able to pursue them with space. If you can catch the person at just the right time, you might uncover some new information to pursue. Huh. Okay. If you ever notice a strange atmosphere amongst the people on the stand, take a good look around. Alright then, so first I should move the marker across with AD, and focus on the detective. Then pursue him with space, and see what's on his mind. Here we go. It's not often that you pursue a detective, usually it's the other way around, they pursue a criminal. Not that I'm a criminal, so technically this isn't exactly the other way around. Oh, you know what I mean.
Exactly. Which means that even if the investigation takes a different direction, vital evidence may be lost.
Okay, so we just gotta use AD. There we are. Sorry, it wasn't moving. And then space to pursue.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. Gah! What's the meaning of this? Oh. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to shock you. Although all I really did was shift my gaze and said excuse me. Not even that. I said excuse me. He really was lost in his thoughts. Deeply. It looked like you were thinking something just now, Inspector. Perhaps having heard what the lady next to you had to say? Yeah. If there's something you'd like to say, please, share it with the court.
Objection!
Oh, for God's sake, how many times do I have to object to what the defense counsel is saying? What is the meaning of this now? I swear to God, we're running around in circles. Oh wow, he just wiped all his sweat off with one fell swoop. It's the delightful Englishwoman who's testifying at the moment, not him. He's just meant to stand there, looking pretty. Of course, he doesn't compare to Miss Giselle Brett. She's a wonderful, eloquent Englishwoman. If you can't find fault with her testimony, then the cross-examination should be over immediately. Stop crossing your eyes over towards him. Oh, is that how it works? Absolutely not. The detective is in the stand, which makes him a valid witness. Yeah, oh god. Yes, not to mention the fact that he's intimately involved in the case. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes. Do you have something to add in relation to the statement just made by Miss Brett? No, but I do have some blood I need to wipe off. Well, yes. If you don't mind, I would like to speak. Ooh. She doesn't seem too happy about that. The lady is right. Our country's police practices are not as modern as those used in Great Britain. Which is why I, Satoru Hosonaga, always strive to make every investigation I'm involved in flawless. What do you really mean by that? Are you just spouting out smoke up everyone's asses? Seriously. I'll tell you what I mean. I won't have evidence lacking on my watch. I'm not afraid to take everything I can from the scene of the crime. It's preserving evidence, you see. I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief. I'm not ashamed of what I've done. I can see that. You're grinning like a madman, but what else do you have in your pockets exactly? Don't tell me it's another photographic print. A crime scene thief? Do you also want some sort of cough lolly? Well, it looks like the lady's remarks touched a nerve there. Take this, for example. Ooh, she's not happy. Is that the bottle of water? And I bet there's traces of poison inside. Is that? This is the bottle of carbonated water that I took to the victim's table on the day in question. And yes, it's lost all of its fizz, having been opened 3 days ago now. But it was carbonated water. I don't care what anyone says. Yeah, well, nice job flawlessly preserving the carbon. Yes, there's some left in the bottle. I can see it. One day our police force will be among the best in the world. The time is coming. I guarantee it. I promise I'm not lying. It's happening. I can't say I condone the witness's actions, but I do understand the sentiment. The court will accept the glass bottle of water as evidence. The carbonated water bottle has been entered into the court record. The carbonated water the victim and Miss Brett shared on the day of the murder. It was on the victim's table. Miss Brett, can you confirm this is indeed the bottle from which you drank on the day of the victim's death? Careful what you say here. Yes, it was that bottle. Oh, really? I'll hold you to that. What was that about? She seemed to avert her eyes when she answered the judge's question. Very well. Counsel, you may resume the cross-examination. And the inspector will kindly control his fervor. Alright, we've got evidence. Now we need to find out what we need to present it on. Okay, I do believe it's this statement here. If there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please do show me. Well, ask and you shall receive, Miss Brett. Carbonated bottled water.
Yes!
What is this? The bottle of water? I just added this into the court record, and you're already presenting it. Actually, there is one method of killing a man without leaving a trace that comes to mind. Oh? Obviously, I'm referring to poison. Poison? What? On the day of his death, we know that Dr. Wilson drank from this bottle of carbonated water. Could it be that there was poison inside? Inspector Hosonaga, looks like you're starting to come to some sort of frightful realization. Could it be that the professor actually died after taking a sip from his glass? Ooh, we got the court all riled up. Order! 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 And on that day, who was sitting at the same table as the professor and able to slip the poison into his drink? There's only one person who could have possibly done it. Giselle Brett, it was you! Oh, she's standing up straight.
Objection!
I love this music as well.
This is outrageous. This is devastating to my case. To suggest such a thing without a scrap of evidence.
I mean, we do have evidence, don't we? We've got water in the bottle. Do you mind taking a drink? Prosecutor Ouchie, you're sweating a lot. You must be dehydrated.
You little rookie imbecile. Have you even considered the delicate situation our country finds itself in now?
Oh, God, please. I'm tired of this, okay? Saying that it's my fault for defending myself, that I should just lie down and take it, that my innocence doesn't matter. It's just about telling Great Britain that we found the culprit and it was not one of their citizens.
Have you forgotten that we only just signed an accord of friendship with the British Empire? How dare you point the finger at the real killer? Just surrender yourself. Have you even the vaguest inkling that your rash accusations could jeopardize the entire treaty?
Objection!
This is not a political arena. This is a trial to determine one individual's guilt with respect to one crime. Don't you think that you should be angry at Miss Giselle Brett? She's the one who killed him. She's the one who's making it look bad.
What?
The fact that this woman is British makes no difference. We're here to determine the truth.
If I may, I will silence you forever for this disgraceful act on your lovely young...
Whoa.
It is you who should be silent. Of course. Dear lady.
Where did that come from? She just snapped. Probably what happened that day when she killed Dr. Wilson.
I'm afraid I may have spoken unfairly before. I offer my most humble apologies.
I'm sorry, my lady. To what are you referring?
I described your police force as inferior. But no matter how inferior they may be, you still investigated this particular point thoroughly, I believe. The bottle, I mean, Inspector. And whether it contained poison or not.
Well, did you?
Of course.
Of course he did. God damn it. You did? Have you forgotten what my guiding principle is already? Yeah, well, I didn't think it'd go this far. I strive for a flawless investigation every time. Every time. 60% of the time. I don't believe it. Naturally, we tested the inside of the bottle and its contents. And? What did you find, Inspector? I ordered tests for every toxin that's available in this country at the present time. Okay, but what about poisons that are available in Great Britain that could have been transported over, illegally smuggled in? We could find no trace of poison of any description in the bottle of carbonated water, Your Excellency. What? Are you sure? You sure? I mean, we could just have a nice, easy litmus test. Force Giselle Britt to drink the water. Of course, that's not going to fly in court. Then again, parrots have been cross-examined. Of course, that was in the future. The tests were meticulously carried out by the chief coroner himself. No. No! That was my last hope!
I'm very grateful to all you Japanese.
And yet you were still nervous when the bottle of water was presented. There's gotta be something.
You've successfully established my complete innocence in this horrid affair. Thank you.
But of course, dear lady, the pleasure was all ours. I was so sure. This can't be right. Everything falls into place if he was poisoned. Thank you, counsel. I think that cross-examination has clarified everything. As the prosecution have asserted, a shot to the chest from this gun is the only conceivable cause of death. Furthermore, the accused, who by his own admission was holding this weapon, is the only possible culprit. God, it's always darkest before dawn. I'm done for. I'm fucked. The court wishes to apologize for the great inconvenience this has caused you, Miss Brett. Run along now, go have your lunch.
Oh no, I'm just glad the matter is resolved.
Before proceeding, I must ask the counsel for the defense. Do you have any further new evidence to present to the court at this time? Kazuma, do we have anything left in our bag of tricks? Oh, now I don't like it when he's nervous or, you know, struggling to think of something because that means I'm screwed. I'm sorry, Ryunosuke. I have nothing more. Well, if you'll excuse me now, I really must be leaving. Good day, amateurs.
Hold it!
Whoa. Who was that? Aha! I knew it was you. I just forgot your name, I'm afraid. Not that I think I ever knew it. Please, wait. Isn't that... What is the meaning of this? Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susato Mikotoba, Judicial Assistant to the Defense. Oh, Susato. Mikotoba? In my darkest hour, with nowhere left to go, she appeared like a bolt of lightning. Could have said like a guardian angel. I think that would have been more appropriate, Ryunosuke. And in her hand, she carried a small package, wrapped in a furoshiki cloth. Ooh, what's in this package? To be continued again! Wow! My goodness, this Miss Giselle Britt is a slippery freaking eel. I don't know how the hell we're gonna harpoon her and shove her in jail where she belongs. 22nd November, 1:14 p.m., Supreme Court of Judicature, Courtroom 2. Here she is, my bolt of lightning herself, come to save me. Well, I understand you are the judicial assistant to the defense, but why this sudden ingress into my courtroom?
Ha! A judicial assistant and a woman, no less.
Oh, God. Prosecutor Ouchie, my oh my. I mean, I understand it's the turn of the 19th century and this is commonplace at the time, but it's just so interesting to see the contrast between Ouchie groveling at Giselle Britt's feet because she's an eloquent, exotic Englishwoman, and then we've got our poor bolt of lightning here who happens to be opposing him, and suddenly he gets all misogynistic.
The rules state that females are not permitted into this court of law other than to testify.
Yet, somehow you made it here, Prosecutor Ouchie. You damn boomer. I can't even call you boomer, because this is before boomers existed. You're a different breed. Yes, I fully understand. I ask only for 5 minutes of time. I have some vital evidence that I must hand over to the defense.
Ha! You're too late, little girl. This trial has already been concluded. Right, Your Excellency? I swear, I've been asking for this trial to be over now for hours now. I'd really like your guilty verdict. 5 minutes. I will not allow a moment more. But, Your Excellency, please, I'm begging you now, just end the trial.
I am most grateful. Suck on it, Ouchie. Who exactly are you? I'm sorry, there's no time. Please, simply accept this for now. What is it? A report about something? Written in English. It's Giselle Brett's research. Huh? The Englishwoman's. After the trial resumed earlier, I hurried back to the university. I went to Dr. Wilson's laboratory in the medical faculty and borrowed this paper. Oh, yes, that's right. Miss Brett was studying under the professor, wasn't she? So, does this research, whatever it is, have something to do with the case? I bet it does. I bet it has something to do with poison. I'm afraid I don't know. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings of the trial myself. That makes sense. I mean, it's not like you have any mobile devices you could stream the court on. Not that courtrooms are usually streamed to phones anyway. Oh, no, of course not. Special characteristics of Kurari and its effects on human subjects. Interesting. I hope I pronounced that right. I can't say I've seen that word very often. Kurari? What's that? Never even heard that word before.
Time's up! I've been counting the seconds. The prosecution demands the immediate removal of this the female trespasser from the courtroom. We've got to emphasize that she's female, okay? She can't just be a trespasser.
There was too little time for me to read it in detail, but I've summarized what I could on a note just inside the cover. If you think it could be valuable, please cast your eye over it. This is wonderful, thank you! Giselle's report has been entered into the court record. A report detailing an unknown poison that Miss Brett has been researching during her time at Yume University. Ah, gosh. evidence. She's now force-feeding me something, and it's not poison, it's victory. Goodbye then, and good luck. Thank you. I hope to see you around, hopefully not on the other side of some prison bars. You've had long enough, Counsel. We cannot detain our English guest any longer. I ask the prosecution and the defense now one last time. Does either side have any further evidence to present to the court? I presume not, but...
The prosecution has made its case convincingly enough already. Nothing more to add, Your Excellency. We rest.
Ryunosuke, we're out of options here. This really is our very last chance. Yes, I know.
Your Excellency, the defense does have new evidence. New evidence that I'm actually going to review right now because I need to know exactly what's contained inside. We can examine it, that's good news.
Synopsis: a poison made from the bark of certain trees in the jungles of South America. The hunters of the region have used it since ancient times to incapacitate their prey. Special characteristics: effects, instant paralysis of the entire body and subsequent death, even in minute doses. So it's perfectly possible that Dr. John H. Wilson was not dead when he burned his wrist. He may have been paralyzed, which is actually horrifying when you think about it because of the fact that he would have been able to feel that pain and he would have been unable to scream, right? Because he was paralyzed, and the helplessness of that, just as you're about to die, is terrifying. Route of entry. The above-mentioned effects occur when the poison enters the body through a wound, such as that inflicted by a blowpipe dart. Okay, so I'm wondering if ingestion is a valid route of entry, because you can't exactly call your throat a wound, can you? Okay, that's something I need to be prepared for. Practical applications. Due to its ability to render the human body paralytic, it's believed that the toxin could have application as an anesthetic. However, a solution for the respiratory arrest caused as a result of the full body paralysis must be found first, or patients would die of suffocation. Okay, so the poison doesn't directly kill you. It's the fact that you're paralyzed, and I take it your lungs cease to function because you're paralyzed, and you end up asphyxiating. Wow, okay. Alright. And Giselle used this on Dr. John H. Wilson in public, and she has the audacity to frame me for it. That look. The unyielding stare of a true Japanese warrior. Yes, maybe I was a samurai in another life. But, I'm afraid I just hit the books now, Your Excellency. Well, Miss Brett? Yes, Your Excellency. If you wouldn't mind, perhaps you could grace us with your presence a little longer. It's a delightful invitation, but I'm afraid it's not so very long until tea time. I'll have to politely decline. Forgive me, Miss Brett. It seems I wasn't clear. I realize it was phrased as a question. However...
Oh, Judge! Oh, yes! Oh my god, I love you so much. Like, don't get me wrong, I love our bald-headed friend as much as the next person. But this judge knows he's got the power, and he's not a pushover. Or a doormat.
I must ask you to treat that as an order.
She is not a happy camper. She is hungry. Her stomach's grumbling, Your Excellency.
Not that it matters. She'll have plenty of meals to eat, paid for by the state. I've said it many times before, but the Japanese language makes no sense. My apologies, dear lady. Not really. So, Counsel, what is this new evidence that demands the court's attention? I certainly hope I don't fail this particular test. It is Giselle's report, and I've had ample time to review it, Your Excellency.
Yes!
Right here. Miss Giselle Brett, we understand you were studying under Dr. Wilson at Yume University, doing research. Research, by sheer coincidence perhaps, into a deadly poison.
What?
Poison? Where are you going with this, Counsel? A toxin known as Kurari, Your Excellency. Even the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads to instant death.
Objection! Oh, God! What complete and utter nonsense! You guys just keep coming up with the most phony theories! Kurari, you say? I've never even heard of it. You're making stuff up now.
You wouldn't have done.
What do you mean?
I mean that you wouldn't have heard of Kurari before for one very simple reason. It doesn't exist in our country. It doesn't exist? Correct. Which means, no matter what tests the police can do for toxins, they'd never identify Kurari. Why? Because there is no test available here that can identify the presence of this highly deadly poison!
What? No! You're kidding me! This is all very convenient.
Order! 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 Counsel, does this deadly poison truly exist? According to the report authored by the visiting research student from England, Kurari has long been used by the tribespeople of South America as a poison to lace their arrows. It seems that it's reasonably well known among European doctors and scientists.
To lace their arrows? People still use those? We got guns now.
The report states that it is produced from the extract of a tree that grows deep in the Amazonian jungle, and it was first brought back to Europe at the turn of the century by explorers. It claims that animals shot by arrows laced with curari suffer instant death. Doesn't that about sum it up, Miss Brett? You thought Dr. Wilson was an animal? Osanaga's starting to realize...
Objection!
Trumpery! These aspersions are utter trumpery! To start with, if the victim had been administered some of the so-called deadly poison, he would have been squirming and writhing in pain, and the other diamonds would have surely noticed.
Ah, but he was paralyzed. Ouchie. That's true. What do you say to that, Inspector? Well, obviously I would have noticed a disturbance like that. I don't remember anything like that either. I didn't notice the professor being in any kind of pain. And that's the true tragedy of it all, right? He was probably begging for anyone to notice what was happening to him, but he couldn't communicate it. And it was too late. According to this, however, it's the other way around.
What do you mean, the other way around?
The very fact that the victim didn't show any visible signs of distress is evidence that curari was used. Explain yourself, counsel. The moment this toxin enters a person's system, it causes instant paralysis. I like how I'm the one that's like shuffling through the reports and Kazuma's already memorized it all. In other words, afflicted victims lose all strength and are completely unable to move. Even if they were in total agony, there would be no visible signs of pain at all. Damn, maybe an eye twitch at the very least, but even then, who's gonna notice that? How terrible. Obviously, if a man lost all strength in his muscles, he'd collapse on the floor. But with a chair under him for support, as Dr. Wilson did, the effects could go largely unnoticed. But I don't follow, Kazuma. That's just paralysis. I thought the poison caused instant death. Yeah. The full explanation is extremely unpleasant. The poison causes immediate paralysis, as I said, leaving the victim unable to move. So not instant death, but instant paralysis, and you're basically done for at that point, because you haven't got long before your muscles and your lungs stop working. But after a short time, the paralysis is so severe it causes the muscles that control respiration to fail. Respiration? You mean breathing? In other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation. And all the while the victim is conscious and aware, just unable to move. Damn! This Giselle, honestly, she's a true monster.
That's hideous.
And that's what your, elegant gentlewoman was capable of. To the observer, it would look almost like the victim was slipping peacefully into an endless sleep. But for the victim himself, his final moments would be a living hell. That is the true nature of this deadly curari poison. Well, what do you have to say to that, Giselle? Guess you're gonna be going to jail. And you're suggesting that this bottle, counsel, actually contains this terrifying poison.
Objection!
This is all very convenient, isn't it?
That's what I mentioned before. I knew this would be like the line of questioning.
Hitherto unknown poison for which there is no means of testing. Oh, what a happy tale for the defense!
If I may.
All these facts. You think you're so clever, but you must be taught some manner.
It is you who must be taught.
Of course. Dear lady!
Well, what do you have to say to that? So, this is how you Japanese behave, is it? What? You steal another's honest hard work and then announce the results as if you discovered them. I'm appalled. What a loathsome act. Oh God, please. Well, Miss Brett, the feeling is mutual. Whatever do you mean? Capitalizing on the unfortunate circumstances of an innocent man to frame him for a heinous crime? That really is a loathsome act. Wouldn't you agree? Plagiarism is nothing compared to murder.
Objection!
Enough of this! I, for one, refuse to accept it, so it can't be true. The idea of some poison that doesn't even exist in the great empire of Japan is... You're breaking the rules, okay? You already broke the rules with your female judicial assistant. If it was male, maybe I would have allowed it, but she was female, so no. And now, you're bringing up some poison that exists outside the realm of my world, which is Japan.
What's so funny? Oh, excuse me, Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Brett. May I borrow that bottle for a moment, please? Well... Yes, I don't see... why not? Okay. She's gonna drink it? Damn. She's ahead of the curve. I suggested this earlier. And now she's going to drink it. Don't get too big for your boots, you insignificant little island boys. Wow. Sorry. To an Englishwoman such as myself, this whole affair is a farcical comedy, sorry. I forgot how to speak English because I was sullying myself with your language of Japanese. Your little police games and these foolish courtroom antics. It's laughable, really. But I'm getting bored of it all now. It's time for the games to end. Cheers! Right, but we know now the significance of that particular paragraph in the report. Wait! What are you doing? That it has to be entered into the bloodstream via a wound. No sparkle left at all. How appropriate for this shabby affair. Oh. Total, utter silence. Goodness. Whatever is the matter? You all look quite stunned. So, no Kurari. The bottle was clean. Is that what you're saying? You look quite incredulous, little boy. But of course, that's the simple truth. Thank you for presenting the findings of my research so concisely here in this grand venue. Most kind. Gah. Thank you, waiter. Now then, Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Brett. I should like to be excused now, please. I think I've given more than enough of my time for the furtherance of friendship between our countries. And now I shall attend to tea time. Yes, dear lady. We are most gratified with all the assistance you have given. Oh, God, what a roller coaster ride this is. I swear to God. This is an intense tug of war. This doesn't make sense. There had to have been poison in that bottle. So how? How did she swallow a whole glass and live to tell the tale? I don't understand it. Well, I suppose if nothing else, this little Far Eastern charade. will make for an interesting conversation at the next party I attend in London. There has to have been poison in that bottle, doesn't there? But there can't have been, because otherwise she would have keeled over dead. Oh no, of course! Of course! I understand now why when Dr. John H. Wilson, when he drank it, he got poisoned, and she hasn't, because he had just gone to the dentist, so he would have had wounds in his mouth. Of course! He had just had a tooth removed. That's how it would have gotten in. Come on, Ryunosuke. We have all the clues now. That bottle of water. It contains poison. But it didn't enter via a wound. The culprit did put Kurari poison into Dr. Wilson's carbonated water. The fence refuses to change its position. You're serious?
Objection! Fool! Are you blind? She literally just sculled the glass of water. There's no possible way that bottle could contain poison. I mean, we just saw
Miss Brett drinking the water from it? That's right. Which rather complicates your argument, I think. And I believe that complication can be explained.
How exactly?
I hope I'm right about this, because man, when you come to that that's the cool thing about Ace Attorney, is that when you come to the realization of what exactly happened, it's so damn exciting, especially when you come close to chasing down the culprit and crossing off all the contradictions. Here we go. This is the end game now. I need to think through all the things that don't quite add up here, one by one. I'm sure the answer is in the evidence we have in the court record somewhere. It has to be. Very well. If the defense truly intends to assert this claim, then I must ask you to support the assertion with evidence. What explains how the witness was able to consume this supposedly poisoned water unscathed? Her report, Your Excellency.
Yes!
The answer to this riddle is right here in Miss Brett's own research report.
Objection! God, that's not a valid explanation, even though it's a report based around the poison that we're debating.
No.
After all, we don't speak English. That report is utter gibberish.
Sorry, you're quite low on the chain there, buddy.
This impudent young scoundrel is trying to ridicule the court, Your Excellency, presenting a foreign language now.
I'm not trying to ridicule anyone. Honest, I'm just reading Susato-san's notes. I concur. This report is too extensive to be considered in its entirety by the court. Just because you guys want to have this done so you can contact Great Britain and have your little tea and crumpets. You will direct us to the pertinent section, Counsel. Which section of the report reveals the alleged answer to this riddle? I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm going to. Not review the report and just base this off my memory. Its special characteristics. We've been hearing a lot about this Kurari poison. And it's left me curious about something. Oh, Counsel? Well, it sounds as though indigenous hunters have been using this poison for years and years. To lace the heads of the arrows that they shoot at whatever prey they're hunting. So we've been led to believe, yes. And the point of hunting is to catch prey to eat.
Get to the point, please.
But if they were to use these laced arrows, doesn't that mean there would be traces of poison left in the prey the hunters were going to eat? Yes. Good point. That is a good point. I didn't actually consider that. They don't want to poison their food. So surely the hunters wouldn't want to eat their prey, would they? Because then they'd be eating poison.
Good gracious, Counsel. No, that would be madness. No one would be dumb enough to do that.
But I actually found the answer to that conundrum in this research paper here. Under special characteristics, it says this. The poison starts to work after entering the body through a wound. Through a wound, you say? I see. That makes sense. Yes. The mention of that particular detail seemed a little strange to me, though. Yes. But it all makes sense when you interpret what's written like this. When Kurari enters the body through an open wound, it has terrifying poisonous effects. However, when it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poisonous effects whatsoever.
What?
Miss Brett, you authored this research. You knew Kurari's special characteristics. And you knew that you could make a spectacle of drinking that water without any danger to yourself. Oh boy. You meddling little... Oh dear. Rapscallion! Oh, yes. Well, Ryunosuke, it turns out you're an even better lawyer than I thought you'd be. I'm sorry, this is just so awesome. Really? Me? A lawyer?
Objection! Oh, all this poison talk. It's fascinating, I'm sure. But I fail to see how it possibly...
So, the ill-bred little puppy has a little new toy to play with. Some facts he read in a book. But I'm afraid knowledge doesn't suit you, little boy. It only makes you look silly. What are you trying to say? My triumphant music's playing right now. This is my moment! Your schoolboyish logic has a fatal flaw. Schoolboyish? We attend the same university. Flaw? As even your brain has managed to deduce, Kurari is safe to ingest. It seems likely that its effects are neutralized by the acidic nature of the gastric succus. Oh, yes, well, of course. Gastric suckers? What the hell are they? So, even if this lethal poison is completely harmless when drunk, the professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, would he? Thankfully, I've already answered that question. That's right. Good gracious. That's basic science. Science that even a schoolboy should be able to understand, no? One more line of inquiry, and she's done for. Order! Order in the court! Order! The logic holds. If the lady and the professor drank the same poison, they would be affected in the same way. Are you trying to suggest...
Yes! This Kurari poison is completely irrelevant to the case on trial. Seriously, then what the hell was it doing in the bottle in the restaurant?
That's right. Surely even a little cockroach like you could understand something as simple as that. Ooh, what's this? What is this? Welling up inside me. I've never felt like this before. Oh boy. Oh, we gotta unlock Ryunosuke's special ability. It's a sort of conviction to break down all the discrepancies. It's so intense. Almost rage-like. Oh boy. We're about to go Super Saiyan. And more than anything else, it's an animalistic desire to take down my prey. Time to lace up our arrows, Ryunosuke.
Objection!
Oh! We said it! We said the word! Even she's shocked. I don't think so, Mr. Zale Brett. How dare you use that tone with me? You know very well that there is no fatal flaw here. You know exactly why, even though both of you and the victim swallowed the same poison. You are alive, but Dr. Wilson is dead. Counsel, I'm sure I don't need to remind you. You must provide compelling evidence, not enough to raise your voice and shout the word objection, as the prosecution has been doing this entire time. That's why he's been losing this case. As we now know that this poison is completely harmless when ingested. Why would Dr. Wilson alone have been killed by the Kurari? Well, because he had undergone dental treatment, Your Excellency. Take that! Yes! That's back as well! As Miss Brett so readily pointed out, she drank the same water as the professor. However, there was a fundamental and fatal difference between the diners. A fatal difference? The toxic effects of Kurari are only felt when the poison enters the body through an open wound. So, for a healthy person with no injuries, drinking it is completely harmless. But what if there was a wound inside the mouth of the person drinking the poisoned water?
Inside?
Yes, like the wound you might have if you had just been to the dentist and had a tooth extracted, for example. Oh! Miss Brett, you've acknowledged many times in your testimony already that you were well aware of Dr. Wilson's dental appointment that day. Oh! So that's it. You used that knowledge to orchestrate this. You know what's worse is that she just drank the last of the evidence that the poison existed, right? I don't think there's any water left in that bottle, is there? Because there was only a little bit left. Is she laughing? I don't like to repeat myself, but honestly, I can't resist. These childish courtroom games and your half-baked arguments are all so puerile. What? What do you mean? Don't worry, little schoolboy. You'll find out soon enough.
She's running! Stop her!
Oh, she's got the bottle. Never mind. You see, when you leave vital evidence lying around, you never know what might happen to it. No! I mean, it could just slip.
You're kidding me! How is this allowed? She should be held in contempt of court!
Oh, dear, how careless of me. I'm afraid some crucial evidence may have just been tragically destroyed.
No! There's still the glass. There's still the glass that he drank from. What is it? What happened? It's the Englishwoman. She just smashed that bottle. And in the Supreme Court. What a terrible blunder. Officer, what are you waiting for? Collect up as much of the water of that broken bottle as once.
You're wasting your time. This delightful carpet under my feet here was a gift from the British Empire. I assure you, it will soak up the water beautifully. You have neither the technology nor the presence of mind to recover it.
How could you? You won't get away with this!
You can thump the bench and shout as much as you like, little boy.
Well, you can shove that mask up to your eyes as much as you want. I can see right through your facade, your mask.
But I'm afraid we'll never know now, will we? If there really was poison in the bottle. Or not.
You.
And let us not forget, we still have some very compelling evidence left intact. The gun. Isn't that right, counsel for the prosecution?
Oh, of course. You're referring to this photographic print, I presume, dear lady, which shows the actual way he died, according to the post-mortem report.
That's right. And really, looking at this photograph, it's as clear as day, isn't it? The poor professor was sitting with his back to me. So of course the only person who could have shot him from the front is the little schoolboy.
Objection!
No! You killed the victim that day, using Kurari. And then, in order to frame Ryunosuke Naruhodo for the crime, you waited until he picked up the pistol you'd arranged for him to find on the floor, before you shot the professor's dead body in the chest with your own hidden gun. Then, in the confusion that followed, all you had to do was turn the dead professor and his chair around. You see, you had every opportunity to commit this crime.
What a wonderful imagination you have, young man.
Oh, so he's not a schoolboy?
A hidden gun, you say? And I shot the professor's body, did I? Well, I'm terribly sorry, but you don't have a shred of evidence.
Exactly! And as you have nothing to support your wild claims, the prosecution's stance remains unchanged. The victim, Dr. John H. Wilson, was killed by a gunshot to the chest. You know, it's funny that Gisele's the one arguing your case for you, Prosecutor Ouchie. And she's a woman. So I guess we could say that woman would probably do a better job than you at court. Delivered in cold blood by the accused, Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
Ugh.
She won't go down without a fight. She's basically Alba. But prettier. This is unbelievable. How can this be happening? We had her, but now, is she really going to get away with it? The way she destroyed that evidence was obscene. Oh man, this is the... You know, it's at times like this that I wish that reasonable doubt existed. Ryunosuke.
Yes.
We've come this far, but now... Now you're the only one who can finish it.
What?
What do you mean? We've lost a vital piece of evidence, it's true. So if there are any clues left for us to use now, they must be in your head.
In my head?
You told me before that your powers of observation were the one thing you could really depend upon.
Well, yes, that's true, but
I didn't manage to notice that this woman was a foreigner with a swan on her head.
So think back now. Try to remember every last detail about the scene that day. Everything you saw, everything you felt, every color, every smell. What I saw, what I felt. Every color. Oh dear, what are we focusing on now? Blood on the stake. Is Kazuma right? Somewhere in the vibrant memory of the same scene in my head. Could there be another clue to expose the identity of Dr. Wilson's killer? There has to be a clue! Actually, Kazuma, I think I might have something. Thinking back over everything I saw, I think I might have uncovered another clue. You always have something up your sleeve, don't you, Ryunosuke? Come on then, let's wipe the smug smile off that Englishwoman's face with some evidence. Alright, I can't wait. It's been niggling me for a while that something feels amiss in my memories of that day. Whatever it is could be the key to arriving at the truth about all this. It's here somewhere. The clue that shows who Dr. Wilson's real killer must have been is. It's gotta be the blood, right?
Take that!
Take that! Inspector Hosonaga, answer me this. Yes? What is it? Sorry, I've just been watching this all unfold. It's actually quite exciting. He's still miles away. Probably thinking about that bottle being smashed. Yeah, sorry to ruin your flawless investigation. As you've said a number of times now, you strive for perfection in your investigations, don't you? Absolutely. I wonder, therefore, if perhaps you took anything else from the scene of the crime? Like, for instance, the plate of steak that you took to the victim's table that day?
Objection! Wait a minute! Where are you going with the...
Where are you going with this, little boy? She's taken over. It's just a memory that's been troubling me. What memory? I saw the scene shown in this photographic print with my own eyes that day. And I saw that on the wooden base of the plate that the steak was served on was a spattering of blood.
What?
Oh, really? And what of it? Obviously, that must have happened when you shot the professor. No, that can't be the case. Take a good look at the photograph and the relative position of everything there. The plate of steak is almost directly behind the victim. If I'm supposed to have shot Dr. Wilson in the chest from the front, there's no way that blood from the victim could have ended up directly behind him. That's right, because there was no exit wound, of course. Yes. For blood to have made it onto the plate, it implies the plate was between the victim and the shooter. Which means the shooter must have been sitting opposite the professor, as you were. Giselle Brett, I beg your pardon?
Objection! This is beyond ridiculous fabricated nonsense. I don't see any blood on this stupid photo. It's black and white. It's monochrome. Does the court seriously expect to believe something the accused has apparently just remembered seeing? At this point in time, he just remembered. It just flashes his memories as bad as those witnesses we had on the stand earlier.
Hold it!
Oh? It was you who said it. This could be the moment that my entire career in the police force has been leading to. Inspector, you mean... Yes, I took the plate. In the interests of preserving evidence from the scene of the crime, it's right here in my vest. Oh dear, she's got her handkerchief out. I took it, meat and all. And I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief because of it. You did what? I took the steak that you had been eating, Miss Brett. I took the steak that the sergeant had been eating. And I did it all in the name of justice. Of course you did. Of course you did, Hosonaga. By God, you're a genius.